A faint scraping echoes in darkness. A chisel strikes against stone. A woman's trembling hands, stained with blood, carve a human face into marble. Her name is Maya Collins, and since the night her fiancé died, she hasn't spoken a single word. 3 years later, Maya walks down a sterile corridor inside Ravenscroft Institute, her wrists in handcuffs. Fluorescent lights hum overhead. At the end of the hallway, a psychiatrist watches her approach. Dr. Ethan Cole. Calm but curious, he believes he can make her speak. In their first session, the silence between them feels heavier than the room itself. Ethan slides a block of clay toward her, but Maya pushes it back. She prefers stone. He brings her a block, and she begins to carve. Each strike of her chisel fills the air with soft dust, the rhythm of obsession and control. Meanwhile, Detective Harper studies old CCTV footage from the night of the murder. The evidence never made sense: 2 chairs, a rope, and a camera. She replays the footage again and again, convinced something is missing. Back in the art room, Maya's sculpture takes form. A man's face, smooth on one side, burned and scarred on the other. Ethan can't look away. The sight stirs a memory he thought he'd buried. A fire, years ago, a ring tattoo, a choice he can't undo. The flashback burns through his thoughts, smoke filling a stairwell, flames crawling up the walls. Ethan carrying a file box while a man screams behind him. He escaped that night. Someone else didn't. Later, Detective Harper sneaks into Maya's room and discovers a leather-bound diary under her mattress. Inside are sketches of 2 chairs, a gun, and the words, "You remember me." When Harper confronts her, Maya writes a single message: "He started it." Ethan spends nights watching her through a one-way mirror. His reflection merges with her sculpture, half of his own face distorted in the glass. He starts to realize that her silence might not be trauma, but strategy. In their next session, Ethan tries to lead her through word association. He asks about Daniel, her fiancé. She taps once for yes. Then he asks about the burned man. She taps once again. Finally, she writes 3 words on his notepad. "You remember me." Ethan's breath catches. That night, Harper uncovers an old ethics file on Ethan sealed years ago. It reveals his unauthorized experiments with patients, using emotional manipulation and exposure therapy that crossed the line. The report ends with the name blacked out, but Harper knows it's Daniel. Ethan, in his office, unlocks a drawer and finds an old tape labeled D Prototype Session. He plays it. On screen, a younger Ethan interviews Daniel, Maya's fiancé. He watches himself push Daniel too far, forcing him to choose between love and survival. When the screen fades, Ethan whispers, "Oh God, what did I do?" Maya appears behind him, silent, watching her eyes say everything. The next day, the sculpture is finished, a perfect likeness of Ethan himself, split down the center, one side burned, the other smooth. Beneath it lies Daniel's broken camera in an evidence bag. On the floor, Maya writes, "You taught him." The flashbacks come like thunder: 2 chairs, rope, a gun, Daniel choosing himself over her, the shot, the silence that followed. Now, Ethan sits across from Maya in their final session. A small red light on the camera blinks as it records. He confesses everything: the experiment, the lies, the guilt. His voice trembles. "This is my confession." Police burst through the door as Maya lifts the old tape into view. Detective Harper steps in, silent but firm. Ethan doesn't resist. He looks at Maya one last time, destroyed yet relieved. Weeks later, in a quiet art gallery, Maya's sculpture stands under a spotlight. A plaque reads, "The Last Confession Artist, Maya Collins." Visitors whisper in awe. Detective Harper stands nearby, watching Maya stare at her work. Maya raises her chisel one last time, taps it gently against the sculpture's base. The metallic echo rings out in the silence. She smiles faintly and walks away. Silence speaks the loudest.